Now, page 4, politically perverting our federalist system to tank the American economy, along with the 45th President of the United States. Simply observing the divergent actions of the federal government compared to the blue state and blue city leadership clearly exposes the political motivation behind this severe overreaction to the Wuhan coronavirus. Donald Trump is proffering a measured, rational, all-of-government response to the virus. He's not panicking, and he's not causing a panic. President Trump is being extremely careful to, on the one hand, protect Americans from the outbreak, and, on the other hand, not trample on the constitutional rights of U.S. citizens that he's trying to insulate from the Wuhan virus. What's more, it is painfully obvious that the president is chomping at the economic bit to end the lockdown, shutdown, shakedown of the American economy, and rightfully so. Instinctively, this president understands what many people in government and these lemmings who are just fine with staying home and not contributing to society do not understand. The longer America is shut down over this virus, ostensibly, the harder it will be to find a solution to it. We can't find a cure for the Wuhan coronavirus if 75% of the country is closed. A fully functioning free market America is what ended World War II, right? Yes, of course. Well, if the battle against this Wuhan virus is truly a war fighting an invisible enemy, then we need our society hitting on all cylinders to beat it. Doesn't that make sense? You don't quit your job when you sustain a personal crisis like divorce. No, you need your job more than ever during a divorce because your ex-wife is going to be draining your bank account. Sorry, just a momentary flashback there. Anyway, same thing here with the Wuhan, which brings us back to the blue state and blue city politicians like Newsom, Cuomo, and de Blasio. What do they all have in common besides a D next to their names? They all want to see President Trump defeated in November. And since they control about 20% of the gross domestic product in the United States between them, they know that keeping their economies frozen will hurt the overall U.S. economy. And if the U.S. economy tanks, then it hurts the re-election chances of President Trump. Yep, sorry. It's that simple. And of course, there will be more cases of the Wuhan coronavirus in New York and California for several reasons. Huge population centers. Both states are travel hubs. But no, the economies of these two states do not have to be shut down completely. The Wuhan coronavirus is simply the political excuse of a lifetime for these radical politicians who hate Donald Trump and hate this country, by the way. The truth is, these partisans would be perfectly fine with triggering a recession and causing pain and suffering for millions and millions of Americans if it meant defeating President Trump. In essence, these blue state leaders are using the constitutional government that the framers gave to us, our federalist system of government, politically perverting it to tank the American economy and re-election hopes of the 45th President of the United States. Exhibit number 1, Gavin Newsom, governor of California. He's actually telling California residents how to live their lives now, where they can go, what they can do, and for how long.
I don't want to close big, beautiful, open spaces. Not when we're encouraging people to go outside.
Stop. Listen to this guy. I'm just expecting a 1984 moment. George Orwell's going to walk out from behind the curtain here and tell us it's just a book. It's just a movie and there's going to be an end to it and it's just fantasy. No, this is reality. This guy is actually dictating to California residents who, last I checked, are also United States citizens. Most of them, anyway, are United States citizens, I should say, dictating to them where they can go and when they can go there. This is unbelievable. I overheard a young woman, I don't know how young, a lot of people are young compared to me, and she was talking on the phone rather loudly, so I wasn't eavesdropping, I could just hear it. I was in proximity. Social distance, don't you know? But still proximity. And she was going on and on and on about how people need to obey this governor, how people need to obey his orders. And if they don't, they need to pay the consequences. Pay the consequences. In other words, face a fine or a ticket or be arrested. This woman would have fit in perfectly in the early stages of Hitler's rise, right? Or the early stages of Stalin. If this woman and this attitude were around in 1776, just go along. Don't make a fuss. Just go along with whatever government tells you to do. 1776, if this had permeated this land back then, we never would have had the Revolutionary War. We never would have broken away from Great Britain. We'd still be speaking with an English accent. It is how many American citizens in California residents, even know what is protected in the First Amendment? Do they know the 5 things? Do they even know one of the 5 protected in the First Amendment? Have we dumbed down society, especially in California, to this degree that they can't connect the dots of what's going on here? That the freedom to assemble is enshrined and protected in the United States Constitution in the First Amendment. And what this governor is doing is attacking it and telling you you cannot practice your First Amendment rights. And because freedom of assembly is being choked off by this radical dressed in a suit, the freedom to practice your religion in a group, in a church, is being choked off. 2 of the 5 major components of the First Amendment smashed under the well-shined shoe of the slickster from California. And Californians, the majority of whom, I don't see them rising up. I don't see them saying what I'm saying. Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. This isn't rational. We want to protect the people who are vulnerable in our society, but we shouldn't give up our constitutional rights in order to do so. This is not what they would want. So this guy, Newsom, this guy plus Cuomo, are now running this country de facto. They are dictating draconian orders to their residents, which have a ripple effect into the lives of all Americans, all Americans. So this sets up an ideological collision that's going to play out over the next couple of weeks. A president who knows instinctively that we have got to get the economic engine of America running again as soon as possible, butting up against these blue state radicals who are attempting to throttle it.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.